And just remember, if you do that, qualified immunity no longer holds. Because I'm putting you on notice. I have a constitutional right to be here.
Welcome back to Advocacy, Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. We're headed to Deerfield Beach, Florida, and we're going to a post office with a camera rolling, maybe some customer complaints, and the police arrive. And right on the wall, there's that famous poster number 7. That's the rule book that protects and limits filming in post office facilities. Let's watch what happens here, and we'll talk about all of it. With that, let's jump in.
The postmaster's going to be hot. He's one of those guys that tries to prove they can film wherever they want. You know, he's one of those YouTube guys.
The supervisor here. He's been bothering all the customers. He's been filming my window workers, filming their transactions, bothering everyone, and saying that he has a right to do this, that is his job.
Okay. Now the law on the wall does say that he can film unless an authorized person tells him to leave. That would be him.
All right, so
he's been told. He's the boss. I'm a code enforcement guy. I was just here.
He's the one. You was the one that's filming?
No.
I was filming. All my co-workers has been filmed. And I came to talk to him and ask him to please come outside.
He's a big guy. He looks exactly like you expect him to look.
Where is he at now?
He's right inside.
I'll do this.
Take your time. Sorry, no.
What's going on? So what's going on, sir?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Can I get your name and badge number for the record?
What's your name?
Can I get your name and badge number?
Smith 2078. What's your name?
Smith 23078.
2078. What's going on?
2078?
20788.
Oh, 20788.
Right. Yes, sir.
And your body cam's running?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right. I don't have any other questions for you, really.
All right. So why I'm here?
Why are you here?
Yeah. Why I get called here?
I didn't call you. Ask them.
Okay. I'm asking you. Why did? No, I'm saying why did they call me for me to come here for you? Why?
Because they're uneducated, they don't know the law.
Okay. Are you here to do anything?
I'm not here to answer any of your questions.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm just here conducting constitutionally protected business.
And what is that?
None of yours. It's constitutionally protected, though.
Okay, no problem.
You don't want to infringe on my First Amendment right today, do you?
Have I said anything about you before?
I just want to make sure you don't.
Have I said anything about you?
Because I will hold you accountable.
Okay, you can hold me.
No, ma'am.
No, go ahead, ma'am.
Go ahead.
You taking a picture?
Sir.
Do that again, man. That was awesome.
I'm trespass?
Yes, I already asked him to go outside. But it's not his business. Stop filming.
No. Sorry, give me 1 second. I got it. Has he done anything here like far as...
He's been filming my co-workers. He's been bothering my customers here and filming my co-workers. He's not allowed to.
But he's not...
Stop filming.
Sir. Talk to me, sir. I need you to talk to me. Don't worry about him. So has he done, I'm saying, has he used any service here? He just in here filming?
I don't know if he's used any service, but he's been bothering my employees.
Okay.
Obnoxious.
Gotcha.
People are scared. They don't know what was
I got you.
Yeah, no, it's not supposed to be filming the lobby itself like that. It's not a public area in that sense. You're only allowed to film your packages to save the tracking number, and he's been recording the customers and videotaping them.
That's loud and argumentative and come back.
He asked him to turn off the camera, and
he's not purchasing stamps of money order, so technically he's loitering.
Yeah, so
you got a lot of things to do.
I'm engaged in constitutionally protected business.
All right, sir.
Sir, you are loitering. You sell stamps of money order.
You have poster 7 right outside your door. The rules and regulations. Are you familiar with your own poster 7 that you have posted on
don't
the
say
door?
anything else on. All right, so here's what's going on. They want you to trespass from this organization.
All right, this is public property. Are you trying to trespass me from public property?
They can trespass you from here.
Do you even have a memorandum of understanding that you're on federal property right now? Do you even have jurisdiction?
Do you understand you're bothering a business?
The mere presence of a camera is not bothering a business.
No, what you're doing right now, you can record. That's fine.
So
you have a freedom right to do that.
Okay.
What you can't do is not bother them while they're working.
I'm not bothering them. They talk to me. I didn't come here talking to anybody.
So tell me this. Are you here to conduct any business?
Yes.
Can you conduct it, please?
Sure. I'm conducting my constitutionally protected business. I'm a journalist. I'm gathering content for a news story that I plan to disseminate to the public.
Okay.
Is your plan to violate my First Amendment right today? Can you get a supervisor here? Because I don't want you to make a mistake, officer. I want to give you every opportunity.
Hey, sir, I'll just try to make sure you do right, though. That's all.
That poster right there that gentleman is reading clearly outlines the rules and regulations of the post office. sorry. I know. He knows. And just so we're clear, Officer Smith, at any point, I just want to make sure I'm informing you that I have a First Amendment right to be here.
I didn't say you didn't.
Okay. I'm just clear. I just want you to know that if at any point you want me to leave, the magic words are, sir, if you don't leave, I will place you under arrest. You give me a threat of arrest, I will gladly walk away from here. No harm, no foul. Although there's harm and foul, and I'll let the courts and stuff deal with that. But outside of that, I just wish to stay here peacefully conducting my constitutionally protected business.
You're not peacefully conducting. That's what they call me.
How am I not peacefully conducting?
Apparently you're not. They call me.
Oh, did you investigate that? Did you see any of that?
So that's what I have enough.
You don't have anything, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we got the I guess this guy here, this journalist guy that comes and records and calls the scene here in the post office. So he asked for a supervisor, but that's all. He was just walking around recording. They asked him to leave. Yeah, and they're saying he's bothering him. He's not doing nothing. He's not doing any service or anything like that. He's just walking around recording them in like the area where people mail and stuff at.
Hey, sir, can I get your name and badge number, please?
Ruiz 19594.
Ruiz 195
94.
19554.
Yeah.
19554. All right. I just want to put you on notice. I am conducting a constitutionally protected activity. I'm engaged in. I'm a journalist. I'm gathering content for a story. If you violate my First Amendment right today, I will hold you guys accountable. At any point you want me to leave, all you got to say is, if you don't leave right now, I'm threatening you with arrest. Those are the magic words. Outside of that, I wish to stay here and peacefully conduct my constitutionally protected business.
You spoke to the caller?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll gladly leave when you guys leave, or you tell me that I'm going to be placed under arrest for engaging in this constitutionally protected activity if I don't leave. And just remember, if you do that, qualified immunity no longer holds, because I'm putting you on notice. I have a constitutional right to be here. Please don't make a mistake. I'd like to show a positive side of law enforcement here.
There you go.
Hello, the 20?
Did one of you guys call? Did one of you guys call?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How you
79
doing?
just
So,
occurred for 9
unfortunately, I think our postmaster just recently called. We had that gentleman come in. I don't know if he's still out in the lobby. And he started filming everything around here. I had to tell him, hey, like you cannot videotape the customers because he came over while I was doing mail. Yeah. I told him if he could turn off the cameras. He didn't really want to do that, so we just had to go ahead. And he was arguing with customers when they were telling him, like, to, you know, give him
It's just one of those like loopholes.
Well, the thing is, technically he filmed in here. This is not a public area, so he did violate that already. He's coming back in here again filming. So
That's fine.
yeah, the public area would be considered over there.
I get it.
And he's in here doing that.
That's fine. Okay.
To kind of show you what I'm referring to.
That's fine.
Yeah, like, continue right there, and then yes or no for the question.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I know.
So apparently our postmaster informed us that he was here at 212 East Hillsborough as well. So I guess he's been doing this repeatedly.
Yeah, of course.
This is actually my first one in Broward County.
Oh, there you go.
All right. No problem. Oh, man.
Apparently our postmaster informed us that he was here at 212 East Hillsborough as well. So I guess he's been doing it.
This is actually my first one in Broward County, buddy.
There you go. Yeah, it's a whole different. It's very different. You okay?
See this, Officer Smith? It's right here. They got it posted. Somebody knows what's going on. There it is right there. That's what gives me the right to do this. Constitution actually gives me the right, but that's the postmaster, Postal Service acknowledging that we do have rights. I'll listen to you.
They do it. They do it.
Right. I'm like, oh, you that guy. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, let me call. Yeah, I called and they're like, let me check something, and they're like, just hold on. Everything said. Hold on. Basically, don't do nothing. I ain't never dealt with this before.
It's right here, Officer Roulette, right there. I don't want to be here longer than necessary. If you guys want to move this along, do you guys think I don't have a right to be here? Do you need a supervisor to clear that up for you, or is that something that you can educate them on?
He's basically just saying, you know, if me and Ruiz tell him, threaten him to, with arrest, he'll leave. So he's trying to get us, pretty much bait us. He's in the back. I can go talk to him. Nah, he's in the back.
You wouldn't want to identify yourself, would you? Of course not. Okay. Have a nice day.
Have a good day, sir.
Okay, once again, this is in Florida. This is in Deerfield Beach. That's in Broward County. All right, so this is an interesting one. I always wondered, how often do people actually call the police on these First Amendment auditors? Let's jump into the basics. Let's start with the First Amendment. That's the big one here, okay? The First Amendment, all right, it gives citizens the right to film public officials in public places. All right, it's a constitutional law. There are going to be restrictions on your First Amendment rights, all right? Those restrictions come in the form of reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions. So basically, they're not going to actually restrict what you do, so not the action, but they're just going to restrict when you do it and in what fashion. All right, always remember that your speech can be limited if it's going to be the type of speech that's going to cause riots, going to cause fights, going to cause a disturbance. That's the key thing here. All right, next, let's move into this post office rule poster number 7. All right, he mentions it several times. We have it here so you can take a look at it. But basically, this rule says that the post office allows photography for news and personal purposes in the lobbies, the corridors, and the public areas, so long as it doesn't disrupt postal operations or infringe on privacy. All right, that sign is posted right inside the Deerfield Beach post office. Now, let me ask you all this. All right, so here's the issue that I have with what happened there. All right, that's fine and good that the man wasn't arrested. Now, the police could have actually told him he had to leave. Let's be clear there, because he was disturbing the business operations. He'd been there for a while before the police had got there. He had to have been doing actions to cause them to move up the chain to the post office supervisor and then call the police. And then you have that whole issue of you're wasting sort of public resources. I know people want to toe the line, find out what the limits of what they can and cannot do. Here, I think the police could have took action sooner. All right, moving up to the next concept. All right, this is federal property, but we have local police that are trying to enforce some rules. How's that possible? All right, United States Post Office buildings are federal property. All right, that's a key point. We all should understand that and know that. If you don't, remember it from this point forward. All post offices are going to be federal property. Now, here, the local sheriff department, which was Broward County, they responded. And that's all because of there's agreements between how the laws work federally and locally, okay? But even once the officers got there, they really were on sort of a little bit of shaky ground. They didn't understand the mission. The mission that was given by the post office employees was, please get this person to leave. And they were unable to do that under their own authority and power. All right, so how could they have done that? Trespass. Trespass is available under Florida law. That's found in 810.08 of the Florida statutes, and it says simply, if an authorized person tells you to leave and you refuse, then you could be charged with trespass. I think this was the answer to their issues here. Go ahead and give him the trespass warning and have him leave. He can litigate all that stuff later on. We talked about some things about qualified immunity, and all those things are true, but they have to arrest him first. If they would have gave him the warning, I think he would have left. I think where they're having issues is once again with these federal laws and these local laws kind of butting heads. Because if the police do something and they're wrong, they could be looking at this civil rights liability. All right. You hear about civil rights cases being filed, and usually we're talking about 42 USC section 1983. In the basics using this here. If an officer in Deerfield Beach unlawfully arrests the auditor, it could open the door to some federal civil rights litigation. And why is that? Because these cases are all based on if the government is taking action against you as a citizen and they're abridging your rights, or they're going against some rights you believe you have, then you file these type of actions because you need a government actor first. All right, so if you don't have a government actor, then you won't be able to succeed and bring these types of action. But I really feel that every time I've always seen these First Amendment auditors, they seem to be goading the government into taking action against them, being sort of provocateurs. But next, let's move into our evidentiary standards. They're at play anytime that we're going to have police interactions. And I think it's important to consider when the police and the government are meeting those standards. Now, when talking about the evidentiary standards, there's 6 levels. We deal with these daily. We'll start at the weakest and work our way up to the highest. We'll use this case as an example point. First, mere suspicion. Now, at this level, the government or the police only have a hunch. They don't have any concrete proof that there's any crime or criminal violation occurring. Here, when the police have just a dispatch call to go somewhere, that's a simple mere suspicion until they actually have some proof. Moving up one level, we have reasonable suspicion. Now, at this level, the government or the police have specific articulable facts that there's some criminal activity afoot, or that there's some criminal activity occurring right now. Now here, the deputies may believe that the auditor is causing a disturbance, but without some solid evidence, it's just grounds to ask some questions, to detain him and investigate. Go around and ask some of the people, hey, is he disturbing you? Hey, what's the reason for our call here? If they don't gather any evidence during that investigation time, they can't move on. Let's find out what the next level is. Probable cause. Now at this level, the government and the police are going to arrest someone. This is when the police believe there's enough facts and evidence for a reasonable person to believe that a crime has occurred and the suspect is involved. Here, they didn't reach that level. To arrest for trespass, officers would need a clear indicator that the postmaster ordered him to leave and he refused. Now here, the police didn't believe they had that. This is where an arrest would have become legal otherwise. Now, what do you think here? All right, if we go back, we take a listen to what he says. The supervisor says he told the man he couldn't record there, he would need to leave. He didn't do that. I believe the police had everything they needed to go ahead and proceed further with the trespass warning that would be officially on body cam and then allowing him to leave. He even told them several times that if he received the warning from them, he would leave. Now he's just trying to do some mental gymnastics. I don't believe that this is the type of case. When he gets to court, a judge is smart. They're going to look at this and they're going to see it for what it is. He's wasting public resources and time. Sure, there are some times when we need to test to make sure things are going like they should. Here is not the time. He wasted at least an hour of the police time. Nothing going on here. Now what they could have done differently here is that they could have asked some of the public members. If any one person would have said, yes, I'm being disturbed, get him out of here, then they would have proceeded forward with telling him he had to leave. All right, so probable cause wasn't met. Let's move up one more level. Preponderance of the evidence. Now, at this level, this is the civil realm. We're talking about civil lawsuits, people suing for money. Now, the auditor could argue it's more likely than not that he was peacefully filming and not interfering with any postal business. Remember, we're in civil territory. Only thing that either side has to prove is that they have at least 51% of the evidence in their favor to win. More likely than not. Now, this is going to be a tough one, I think, on both sides. It's going to take some listening to what's going on and making a decision. Any money damages that come out of this are not going to be very much. It'll be nominal damages, meaning this is where you see those cases and they end and somebody's awarded $1. All right. Moving up one more level, we have clear and convincing evidence. This is also the civil side, but this is when you have to show stronger proof in order to win. This level means there's a high likelihood of your success, substantially likely that your claim is true. It's going to take about 75% of the evidence in your favor to win these types of cases. You usually see this type of standard used for child custody cases, certain administrative hearings where you're dealing with an agency of the government. Also, you'll see this in criminal cases when a person has to prove a certain defense, a novel defense, or when the prosecutor wants to enhance a sentence without bringing a new charge. Now here, if the auditor could prove that the officers knew his rights and ignored them, then he would have them for serious liability. I think that's a lot of the reason why the police were so slow to take any action here. They understood they were dealing with a person who, they know the law to an extent, more than they do, and they were afraid that the consequences might be large. I don't think the consequences would be very large in this situation. Okay, just take action, go ahead and move people along, and let the courts deal with it later on. Highest level, beyond a reasonable doubt. At this level, this is where we're talking about criminal convictions. Every criminal case in America requires beyond a reasonable doubt in order to convict someone. What that means is there's no other logical conclusion besides the defendant being guilty of the charges being brought. Prosecutors must meet this standard for every element of every charge. So here, prosecutors would need some undeniable proof that this man refused lawful orders and he was being disruptive at the post office. Now here, the footage doesn't really show that, and it wasn't to such an extent where the police felt comfortable trying to arrest anyone. Next, instead of doing a jury perspective today, since this didn't go to a jury, let's just ask some basic questions of your intuition. We'll call this, what's your gut feeling? Now, if you had to think about this case and deal with it, not as a juror, but just in general, maybe if you were a police supervisor, someone up the chain, did the auditor in this Deerfield Beach case, did he actually interfere with the postal operations? Or was he just exercising a right that made others uncomfortable? Let me ask you a second question. So, should speech be limited simply because customers complain? And third, now if the police had forced him out, would you view that as a lawful trespass order? Or do you view that more as a civil rights violation? Now, jurors are often swayed by the demeanor of the people involved. Now, the auditor's confrontational style, that might rub some people the wrong way. The Constitution really isn't about protecting popular speech. It's about protecting all speech. You have to understand that's why there's those certain restrictions on the time and place when certain speech can be applied. I think this case really does toe the line. It would have been interesting to see if this had went and matriculated further, to see what courts thought, what various lawyers thought about this. But you tell me in the comments below, if you were in the post office trying to conduct your own business, how would you feel if someone was behind you recording everything you were doing? This Deerfield Beach post office incident shows us the collision between constitutional rights and everyday orders. Yes, you can film in public areas of the post office, but not if it crosses into a disruption. The bigger lesson today, especially for law enforcement, is caution. Moving too quickly without clear legal footing, that's going to risk not just bad press, but also potentially liability in court. So you tell me, what do you think? Should auditors be free to film in lobbies like Deerfield Beach? Or should there be stricter rules for federal property? This is an interesting one. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss this one. Like, subscribe, share the video. Remember, this is Advocacy Alchemy, and I am Professor Ross. I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone be safe out there. Have a good Monday.
I order you to subscribe to Advocacy Alchemy and return tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. Central, for another lecture. Dismissed.